US President Joe Biden is on his way to Saudi Arabia for the final leg of his West Asia summit. Biden's pit stop to Jeddah has attracted controversy, though, even since it was announced. The US President will hold talks with Saudi's King and Crown Prince. Now, back in 2018, the US vowed to turn Saudi Arabia into a pariah state. This after the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And now, 4 years and a presidency later, Biden will meet the Saudi royals. Ahead of his visit, the US president said that he would not avoid raising human rights during his Saudi Arabia tour that has been scheduled on the second leg of this 4-day-long West Asia trip.
The position on Khashoggi has been so clear. I always bring up human rights. But my position on Khashoggi has been so clear. If anyone doesn't understand it in Saudi Arabia or anywhere else, then they haven't been around for a while.
US intelligence believes that the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi was directly approved by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. However, Riyadh has refuted the United States' claims. Biden's visit is essentially aimed at boosting the flow of oil from the kingdom and reset the relationship with a key West Asian country. The US and Saudi have over 70 years of ties that Biden, in his own words, is now trying to reorient. Earlier today, Saudi Arabia announced the opening of its airspace to Israeli aircraft in what seemed to be an apparent gesture of openness towards Israel. This allows Biden to board a direct flight to Jeddah from Jerusalem. The US president has welcomed the historic decision that marks the latest conciliatory move by Riyadh concerning the Jewish state of Israel, which it has refused to recognise. Biden's visit comes against the backdrop of an upcoming Arab leaders summit on Saturday, which is being opposed by many in the United States.
Folks, I want to thank...
Well, for more on this, we're being joined by our correspondent Susan Tarani, who's live for us in New York City. Susan, let's have a little look at this visit to Saudi Arabia, which has been heavily criticised here in the United States. Just run us through what some of the main concerns are, and do you expect Biden to overcome that criticism?
Right, to much of the dismay of both parties, for different reasons, President Biden decided to take this trip to Saudi Arabia. He's not the first president to really take human rights as a campaign rhetoric regarding foreign policy on the campaign trail. The problem with him was that he took that policy all the way to the White House into his administration, and that's why he's so humbled during this trip right now, as he isolated a key ally in the Middle East during the first 18 months of his office, opening him up for criticism from his own party regarding being idealistic, regarding that horrific incident with Jamal Khashoggi on human rights issues on the one hand, and then on the Republican side, there was news that he's going there to, quote unquote, beg the Saudis for oil, despite the fact that the United States until 2019 was energy independent. Many oil companies and those that favor the United States being energy independent, saying that there is a lot of oil here. All he has to do is open up the refineries, as opposed to, again, being so idealistic on his administration's climate policies and agendas. So he's being criticized on both sides, but on the other hand, being praised as well by many for at least taking this step to try to at least mend ties, although it will be slow, with a key Arab ally in the region. How far that will go, how much time it will take, is yet to be seen, considering the fact that this administration is also trying to strike a deal with an arch rival of Saudi Arabia, being Iran, in the context of that 2015 nuclear deal, which seems to be hitting a dead end at this point. That's very concerning for Saudi Arabia. Iran is, controlling the Houthi rebels in Yemen, and the Houthis are responsible for basically bombing a lot of Saudi oil refineries.
Susan, thank you. Now, a little earlier, our correspondent in Israel, Jodie Cohen, sent this report from Tel Aviv looking at President Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia.
The historic decision, as President Biden called it, to open up Saudi airspace to flights to and from Israel is set to save travellers significant time. For instance, flights from Tel Aviv airport, where I am now, to Mumbai will take only 5 hours as opposed to the 8 hours previously. And industry experts are also predicting this will help to lower costs, meaning travellers will save money too. Prime Minister Lapid welcomed the decision as a first step towards normalisation of ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel. And the decision will no doubt be popular among the people too. This is Jodie Cohen for WION World as One.
That was Jodie Cohen in Tel Aviv.